Welcome back to Basic Structure. Now we have lesson 11 and the topic is pronominal questions. My name is Bibi Tujanmoko from Sanata Dharma University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Now let's start. A pronominal question is a question which asks for information. It asks for a piece of information like what's your name or where are you from. Those are simple questions. A pronominal question may ask about the person or object identity. That's the first kind of pronominal question. Then it may also ask about the place of a person or object or the object in a certain place. And then it may also ask about the condition or state of a person or object as well as the object itself. And then the next one, the last kind of question in pronominal question is it may ask about the doer of the action, the object of the action, or any circumstantial information about the action, such as the place, time, and reason. Before we continue with the pronominal questions, let's review a little on verbal questions. We have two kinds of verbal questions. The first is a verbal question which already has an auxiliary verb in the positive sentence. Here we have, as an example, is the word ready for lunch. So the sentence has got an auxiliary verb is, and then you just move is before the subject. Is the food ready for lunch? And then have you finished your work? You have finished your work, and then you have just moved have before the subject. Have you finished your work? And then can you close the door please? So you can close the door, and then you move can before you. Can you close the door please? Will Tina help you with a paper? So here you moved will before the subject. Tina will help you with a paper, and then the question, the yes no question is, will Tina help you with the paper? And then we have a question, a verbal question without an auxiliary verb in the positive sentence. In this case, we need does or do or did in the verbal question. Does Ruth still work here? So we have does here, and then the positive sentence is Ruth still works here, and then we just move it. No, we don't move it, but we have does here, and then we add does before the subject. Does Ruth still work here? And then we have do the kids directly go home? The kids directly go home. That's the positive sentence. And then in the verbal question, we need do because it does not have an auxiliary verb. Do the kids directly go home? And then did you finish the work? So you finished the work. And then the question is, did you finish the work? We need did here because it does not have an auxiliary verb. So here we have two kinds of verbal questions. The first is those sentences which do not have, which have an auxiliary verb, and then we just move the auxiliary verb before the subject, and then sentences which doesn't have an auxiliary verb, and then we need an auxiliary verb does, do, or did. These kind of form also occurs in the pronominal question. Now let's start with the first question. First, it's about identity. So this is number one. This is the first type of pronominal question. It's about identity. It's about identity of a person, of an object. You can like, what is craving? What is craving? Craving is a desire. So we give the identity of craving. What is craving? Craving is a desire to do something, a strong desire to do something. For example, to have great food, to meet a girl, to meet a gentleman. What is craving? What is the problem? So we need to identify. The problem is, okay, what is the problem? The problem is, and then you have what does John do? This is a different form, but at the same case, it also asks for identity. And the answer is similar to the first two questions. What is craving? Craving is, what does John do? John is a doctor, John is a student, John is. So instead of what is John, then we usually ask what does John do. We have what is the cake for? This is also a kind of identity. The cake is for my birthday. The cake is for your birthday. So here we have a question about identity. You have what and then is, and then you have the object. What is the problem? The problem is. Then it's about the person or object with a certain identity. You have like, who is the doctor? John is the doctor, or Dr. Smith is the doctor, or Smith is the doctor. So here the doctor is the identity. You have what is the reason? Well, you can play this reason, or the money is the reason for not taking the course. Money is the reason. What's the matter? What's the matter? Well, it's similar to what is the problem. And in fact, the difference between this, you can sometimes interchange. For example, who is the doctor? The doctor is John, or John is the doctor. But that depends on what we have known in our mind, and then we just ask the question, the identity. Who is the doctor? John is the doctor. What is the reason? Money is the reason. About the person or object with a certain identity. Okay, so the next kind of question is a question which asks for place and time of an object. The place and time of an object. We have like the first is about the place of a person or object. We can ask, where is John? John is in hospital. John is in the library. Where is John? The structure is where. And then you have be, and then you have the noun subject. Where is John? John is in the library. Where is the nearest ATM? It's in front of the post office, for example. So the nearest ATM is, that's a question about the place of an object. Where were you at 5 o'clock yesterday? This one is about the place. I was at home at 5 yesterday. So the question is here, the form is you have the question word where, and then we have be, and then you have the subject. And then we can also ask about the object. So the place is known, but we want to know about the object, like what is in your pocket? Or just my wallet. What is in your pocket? My wallet is in my pocket, or my wallet is my pocket, and so it's my pocket, it's my wallet. And then you have who are in room 205, or sorry, who are in room 202, and the answer is the students are in room 502. The students of semester 2 are in room 502. Here we have the who here. Well, in this case, what and who here functions as a subject. Who are in room 502, and the subject here is who. It's different from the previous sentence over here. You have where is John. So John is a subject, and where here is as a circumstantial information which we need to know, which we want to know. So in this case, what and who on the subject. You have what was in your mind. So this is a place, and what was in your mind. Well, my homework was in my mind, so I couldn't do anything else because of my homework. Okay, so these are the form of questions for asking place. And then we also have questions which are similar, asking about time. It's about the time of an object or event. For example, what time is the meeting? The meeting is at 2 o'clock. The meeting is in the morning. What time? So the meeting is at 9 o'clock. When is the trip? The trip is on December 25. Oh, no. The trip is on May 25. And then what time was the film? The film was at 10 o'clock. So if you want to watch it properly, you can watch again and see from the TV on demand, or if you are watching. So it's in the past. So what time was the film? It was at 10 o'clock, and I didn't see it because I was very sleepy what time was. So the form here is you have the question word, what time or when, and then you have the predicate is or was, and then the subject, the meeting, the trip, and the film here on the subject. And then when we answer that, we say the meeting is, on the trip is, on the film was. And then we can also ask about duration. In this case, we have how long. How long is the test? The test is for 2 hours. The test is 2 hours. How long was the show? The show was 2 hours. The show was 30 minutes. So here it's about duration, it's about time. And we use the question, how long? How long is the test? How long was the show? The next we have the next kind of question is about pronominal question, which asks for a condition or state. The first, it asks about the condition or state of a person or object. Double up here. How is the food? So we ask about the condition or the state of the food, and the answer is the food is delicious. How is the food? How are your test results? My test results were very good. How are your test results? They are very good. So here we have the question with how, and then what does he look like? So here we have what does he look like, and the answer is he is tall, he is handsome, he is very skinny, and the answer is the same. But here we, because it's more appearance, and we use the question like what does he look like. And then what is he like? He is like film star. He is like Obama or something like. What is he like? He's like he is tall. He is short. He is very big. He is handsome. That's the answer to the question. What is he like? And then another question: how does the girl look? Here, please remember that we do not use like anymore because we have look here. How does the girl look? She looks gorgeous. She looks very beautiful. So here it is wrong if we still use like with the how, because it's how does the girl look? How does she look? And the answer is the same. She's beautiful. She is very skinny. She is gorgeous. She is graceful. Okay, so these are the questions which ask for uh, condition or state. And here we have how, and the be over here, and then you have the subject, the food, your task. Or we can also use like what did he look like? What does he look like? What did he look like if it was in the past? Or what is he like? Here, like here is just like a preposition. It doesn't mean like a synonym of love. It's just like he is like my brother. Okay, and then we can also ask about the person or object in a certain place, or this must be in a certain state or condition. So here you have what is interesting in this city. Oh yes, what is interesting in this city? It's well, the beach is interesting. No, no, it's not the beach. What is the answer? What is interesting in this city? While the nightclubs are interesting, uh, the music show in Malioboro is interesting. So it's about the subject. It's about the subject, and but the state is given in a certain place. We have who was happy with this condition, who was happy with this condition, and well, nobody was happy with the condition. It was a bad condition. Who was happy? And then you have which applicant is the most independent. So we have several applicants and we want to know which applicant is the most independent. The construction here is the construction here is what, and this is this uh, subject, and this is a predicate is, and interesting here is the state or condition. What is interesting in this city? Who was happy with the condition? we have the next kind of question is pronominal questions for an action or which asks for action. We have the first, it asks about the doer or the sentence subject, the doer of the action or sentence subject. The first is, who can help me with the presentation design? Who can help me with the presentation design? This is who here. It's about the subject. Who made you sad? Well, what made you sad? Well, my test result made me sad. What made you sad? Which man wanted to borrow your cell phone? Which man wanted to borrow your cell phone? Here, the question is with which man is it? We can have who to ask person, what to ask an object, not a non-person subject. And here you have which man. We have several men, and we want to know which man wanted to borrow your cell phone. So here in this construction, we have who here as a subject, who can help me, what made you sad, and which man. So these are asked about the subject. And in this construction, in this sentences, the functions of the words in the red letters here are the subject of the sentence. The next we have about the object or goal of an action. So what did you eat for lunch? So here, what here in fact is the object of it. What did you eat for lunch? And then you have whom do you want to work with? You can ask with who, or who do you want to work with? Or you can also ask with whom. So here both are possible. But if you have with in the beginning, for example, you work here can be with here can be separated, and you can put it in the beginning. We need to have whom because it's a preposition. So preposition. So we say with whom you want to work with. If we have if with is here, then both are possible. You can ask with who, or we can also ask with whom. Who do you want to work with, or whom do you want to work with? Both are acceptable. And then who will Susan marry? Susan will marry John. So here you have a question who. The answer here should be the object of the verb marrying. Who will Susan marry? Which topic will you write for your paper? So you have some possibilities, some options, and which topic will you write for your paper? Well, I will write this topic for my paper. Susan will marry John, and I want to work with Mary, for example. I want to work with Jane. So these questions ask for the object of the verbs. Now we have another kind of questions. Action is still about action, related to actions, and it gives about circumstantial information about circumstances. It's about the place, time, or reason. You have like, where does Tim work? He works in a private bank. So it's about place. Where does Tim work? The subject here is Tim, and we need a question does here because it doesn't have any auxiliary verb. Where does Tim work? Why did Judy leave the bag here? It's about the reason. Why did why did Judith leave her bag here? It's a reason. And then when will you meet Fred? When will you meet Fred? Here it's time. So here, because we don't have an auxiliary verb, we use does in this sentence for present tense, and we use did over here. And here, because in the past tense you say I will meet Fred at a certain time, and the question is, when will you meet Fred? How did Dr. Hardy explain the topic? This is about manner. How did Dr. Hardy explain the topic? So it's a manner, and the answer can be clearly. He explained the topic clearly, very clearly. He explained the topic by giving examples. He explained the topic with a demonstration. So these are the way he or Dr. Hardy explained the topic, and the answer can be an adverb, clearly, manner by giving examples, by an inform, and with a noun. Now you have a questions with how do you go to work? This is about means of transportation, and the answer is by bus. So you can say by bus, by bike. If you have a means of transportation, you say by bus, by train, by plane. But if you walk, you do not say by foot, but we say on foot. Okay, and that's all. Thank you very much.